And the Boston Consulting Group.
Thank you. Well, welcome everyone. Glad you're here, which I guess for all of you is probably the last appointment of today, or the last content element of today. For those who were just at the CEO panel, I guess I could not have wished for a better introduction of the topic, which is in there all the questions when it came to AI. What is digitization doing for airlines and what changes are there going on? Today KLM and BCG are launching a very unique partnership to jointly offer digital solutions for airline operations to other airlines. And as you just heard in the video, at the end of the day, it's all about turning airlines operations and the quality of airline operations into a competitive advantage. New technology is really helping us to make the next steps and a sort of quantum step forward. We've been working with BCG for the last, I should say, year in developing this, and this has turned into a very unique proposition whereby innovative digital solutions are helping airlines to have a better operational performance, and most importantly for our customers to have really a step forward in terms of the operations, especially at disrupted days. For us at KLM, this partnership is really the next phase and the next step in fulfilling our ambition by becoming, by the year 2020, Europe's most innovative, customer-oriented and efficient network carrier. And this partnership would really help us in moving forward here. And at BCG we found a great partner in doing so, and as I said, we've been working with BCG the last year to work on this, and this sort of milestone we could not have figured when we started this whole process.
Thank you, Peter. I will say also a few of introduction. So at BCG, we believe already that digital operations of airlines is a very huge opportunity, and we believe that the digitalization of airline operation is big for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that we see many of our airline customers focusing their digital effort on the commercial side, but much less on the operational side. Many have a vision to do it, but actually very few move to action. So there's a potential which is untapped here. The second thing is that it's a difficult problem to solve. It's really today working data and resources and buffers are within silos. Very few people work across silos. The second thing is that it's difficult to empower the field employee to make decisions and to make them make the best decision. And the third thing is that the tools which are used in the operation controlling airlines are sometimes outdated. So there is an opportunity here and a difficult problem to tackle, which is exactly where BCG DNA comes together, because solving complex strategical, organizational, analytical problem is what we do at BCG. So with KLM we started to work actually a little more than a year ago on this topic, and we found very quickly that there was a lot of potential as we thought, and we thought also that there was a great opportunity to work with KLM because what we were developing was directly field tested and we could see the impact of what we were doing. So it was a pretty straightforward move for us to go forward with KLM and to take that to the next level. We believe that today this partnership is bringing something which is very unique in terms of offering and product. And as I said, we see KLM as a very obvious partner for us. We've been knowing each other for a long time. KLM is a trusted and very strong partnership for BCG, so we are very happy to move forward.
Maybe to further reflect on that, as Nicolas just mentioned, I think we have been a front runner in many fields when dealing with our customers. If you take the aspect of social media, if you see what we have done and how we took social media in a couple of years from virtually nothing to where we are today. However, many parts of our operational departments were still kind of scattered and having very different tools at different departments and different elements. And that was creating a sort of frustration at the level of employees, where the customers were better informed or had more information than some of our employees. So why are we building these tools? We are building these tools actually for three reasons. Firstly, to making sure that we have for our customers even a better solutions being offered at the day of operations, especially in disturbed operational days. These tools and this set of tools will help us to give a better performance. Secondly, for our employees, we'll have more predictable solutions, and in fact we have created a few optimal digital solutions where we compare sort of thousands or if not millions of possible solutions at the day of operation when it comes to disruptions. And I guess you all had the experience when there was a bad weather day or where there was a lot of wind or snow and the operations was disrupted. There's nothing more annoying not to know when is your next flight being rebooked, or standing at long queues to do with it, or speaking to employees who do not exactly know what is the best solution. We have now developed with BCG a set of tools which is really helping us to move forward in that respect. So that's better for our customers, that's better for our employees, and at the end of the day, also better for our bottom line.
Maybe just a few words on how we differentiate and how we work together. So, as I said, KLM, and Pieter just mentioned it, was a perfect partner for us for two reasons. Because first, KLM is already known for the operational excellence of its business, and second, because KLM has a long history of innovation in the social media, but in other parts of the business as well. So, the way we think about going together to this market is really to create joint teams. So the idea that when we're going to work with other airlines, we're going to bring a team which is a combination of BCG, and within BCG, we have the classical consulting skill, but we have also a specialized data science team called Gamma that brings together this analytical power to produce those tools. And obviously, we team up with a KLM expert in airlines operation, and we bring that team to our clients. And we want to do it in a very concrete way. So it's not a traditional consulting model. We have an agile way of working. We customize, we tailor everything we do to our airline customer. We have a short cycle of development that is to have release every 12 weeks and to get really quickly to the result. The other thing is that we develop in the field. So it's not people in the ivory tower developing anything. The coders are in the field working with the team and solving the concrete solution they face. And this is how we believe that we can bring the most value to the airline customer and frankly to the industry as a whole.
Yeah, maybe to reflect on the industry, I think again, referring to the panel we just had here on stage, and again, I could not have wished for a more appropriate introduction of the topic than the discussion we had in the panel on digitizing airlines and what is the big challenge of digitizing airlines and how to build and connect the various silos of the companies. And that's exactly what we did. And BCG, with both its experience in sort of going through transformation of companies on the one hand side, but also having the access to some of the analysts and skills which BCG had when it comes to data mining, data analytics, which we just do not have in-house, made us a very good and effective partnership. And with that, we are launching today, in fact, this new program. We are launching today these tools, and we're out there in order to make sure that we're going to step forward with these tools. And these tools will actually help us to make it also better with the experience of others. I think we leave the introduction here, and if there's any questions, please shoot. You did,
Yeah. Okay.
So you effectively, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what you're doing is just as you took your strength as an MRO and built yourself into third-party MRO service that is recognized around the world, you're doing that with consulting.
I was about to say perfectly phrased until you said the word consulting.
Because effectively you're not installing systems, you're not actually digitizing.
Exactly. We use what we have built in terms of systems and what we have done together with BCG. We use that, and indeed, like we do at the field of MRO, we also supply that to other airlines if they so wish. We cannot do that alone, so we do that together with BCG, and I think with that we have a very good and very effective partnership, which again also in the field of MRO we have some very effective partnerships where we do that together. And I think it's a little bit part of our DNA. We want to explore, we want to innovate, we want to try new things, and yes, we do that with partners with excellent skills.
But I wasn't being facetious. I know it may have come across that way, but the reason that I worded it consulting instead of IT is because you're not actually offering a packaged IT system, correct?
So I think if I may, I think we approach it as a business question, not as an IT question. As I said, the nature of the problem is both system but also organizational, it's analytical. So we bring together the best of KLM and BCG to transform the organization, engage the teams, but also provide the tools. So there's a tool aspect to it, but not the core of it.
It's really, I think we cannot stress that enough. It's both. So there's no IT company behind the table here. There's no airline behind the table. There's no consultancy behind it. It's a combination of what we can do. So I think it's really the combination of consultancy, IT, and airline experience.
Okay. In which processes and how does it artificial intelligence work for your cabin crew or for your ground staff? could you explore a bit more so
Yeah.
I can understand?
You know, we have, and I invite Dirk Maat or Sander to add to that. But we have, if you look at disrupted days, and you're pretty much aware of the situation at Schiphol, everything is full or overly full, which is, by the way, the whole congested situation at airports in Europe is becoming an increasing challenge. And then when we have bad weather days, it looks like every time we sort of reinvent the wheel again. We have people doing the operations, they make the choices, they optimize the fleet, they cancel a whole bunch of flights, they reallocate crews, and they do it on their sort of experience. They use some tools, but every time they do it again. In sort of, we start from scratch. And I think one of the aspects we do here is we start machine learning to see what are the aspects of previous decisions, where do they turn out to later to have the consequences. And again, on disrupted days, you usually do not exactly know what's the consequence at the end of the day of decisions which you made at the beginning of the day. And we see that our customer appreciation on a good day at KLM, our NPS score is anywhere between 45 and 50. So we have very, very high and very positive scores. On a disrupted day, it drops down to 20. So it is really our ambition to make sure that the disrupted day, at the end of the day, delivers a better experience for our customers. And knowing that at the beginning of the day, what are the consequences of the decisions you take at 9 o'clock in the morning for the operation at 5, really helps us to make that better service. Clear or not? Because you look like not completely clear.
Yeah, nou ja. Maybe we should talk about this outside. I don't understand it, but
We are, maybe we try it again. We are taking a whole range of decisions every time when there's a disrupted day. We use support tools for that. But in fact, these tools are providing the best solution at that point in time. With artificial intelligence, we can have these tools sort of learning themselves what are all the consequences and effects of these decisions. That means that they can provide better solutions next time.
okay, but is the information then quicker with the delay at the customer?
So let me maybe jump in. I think the critical thing to have is information that's predicting rather than sort of like letting it happen. And so what's a very important AI element in here is the predictions on the day of disruption. If you know what's going to happen, because the machine is learning and it knows if this bad weather front is coming in from the UK and therefore this set of flights is going to be delayed, and actually this is what we do and this is what the other carriers do. If that's included in your predictions, you can actually make a lot better decisions now, and that actually will also help you predict what's going to happen a few hours from now. So
and the consequence for the customer, because this is still the system, the consequence for the customer is what you're asking. We expect to have less cancellations, less delays, and better information what will happen with your next flight. So these, if you, Dirk Maat gave the sort of system answer, this helps the system to learn, then the system will do it better. The effect for the customer would be less cancellation, less delay, and more prediction what will happen with your flight.
Okay, next question, please. Hello, Christine McGee from Orient Aviation. I was wondering what sectors of the market you are targeting with this new company, and if there is any region-specific goals in terms of providing marketing your services.
I mean, we have no restrictions so far. I mean, we target all the airlines, full service carriers and low-cost carriers everywhere in the world.
Robert, Silk Travel Weekly. So a couple questions. First, I mean, what demonstrable improvements have you all had since you've implemented this? And do you have results that you can take and pitch to the other airlines and say, this is how well it's worked? Can you give me some specifics on that? The other thing is, from a KLM standpoint, if it is a competitive advantage, why sell that competitive advantage? I mean, is that to your advantage?
Okay. Well, the specifics, I think we have seen some first results on that, and maybe my colleagues could sort of supplement it with some numbers. But if I look to our operations at KLM, and me being not involved in day-to-day really, but if I see the screen at our COO desk, it has more green boxes this year than last year. It's a bit of a simplified way of looking at it. But if I look to our numbers, our KPIs in terms of operation, again at a very congested airport with a lot of complexities, we have a better operational performance in terms of on-time departure, in terms of baggage, in terms of number of cancellations and so on. So the numbers are just better than they were last year. After that, it's always a challenge to exactly link it to the tools, but we see that the operation is running well. Your point on competitive advantage, I would like to circle back here to the MRO question. I believe that we can make these tools eventually better by also learning what is the experience and what's happening at other parts. So we safeguard our data, and it will sort of be, BCG can say that more, it will be in a more anonymous basis, but by learning also from other experiences, and the airline industry in itself is enormously fragmented. So whatever we can learn from others in order to make our tools better is just, I think, also helping us at the end of the day. So yes, it's a competitive advantage. Yes, we want to work it further, but we believe we can make it better by also incorporating the experiences of others.
Maybe to add to your specific question, just one test day, because we do a lot of testing now, to make it very concrete. We had a test day a few weeks ago where the runway capacity was dropped by 50%, which is of course causing a lot of operational delays. Like we had, I think, 44 flights coming in late. If you translate that into passengers, you're speaking about thousands of passengers that would be disrupted if you wouldn't make any interventions. With the tools and running the tools, we actually managed to implement a solution that reduced the number of impacted passengers by more than half. So that's a pretty sizable impact. And that was one test day. So we are doing a lot of tests, but so far it's double-digit impact.
What was that solution?
So the solution you make from the tools is basically you do a lot of what we call swaps. So you swap different flights, you swap crew. Coming back also to your question, in this case we made, I think, 112 swaps within 6 minutes. And that's something that the human brain simply can't do. Because you have to assess like millions of solutions. And so with the tools, be able to make, based on crew, aircraft, passengers, combine all this information and make 112 aircraft swaps to minimize the impact on your passengers, that's of course something that's very beneficial to the customers.
Was it a swap of aircraft or
Yeah, both, yeah. As well as crew, by the way.
Next question?
Yeah, so I just have some technical questions to follow up. So the algorithms belong to BCG or KLM?
IP is fully owned by KLM.
Okay, and the data mining is performed by BCG?
As I said, we have a joint team. It happened that in BCG we have a dedicated team for that called Gamma, which are high caliber consultants, but we're also high caliber data scientists. And this team is actually behind most of the work we do with KLM.
And the brain power is applied by Watson? IBM?
No, it's Gamma. This team is developing this algorithm.
It's joint teams. Yes. So the brain power is just as much joint teams.
Okay, but the computing side of it is happening on a Gamma computer?
No, it's happening on KLM system. We
Your
really
own
develop.
your own system, and you were able to streamline your system so it can process that much data with the algorithms you developed?
Yes,
This is very valuable then.
that's what they do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Emma Kelly from Asian Aviation. So have you started talking to other airlines about these solutions, and what's the state of play there? Do you have other, what sort of interest do you have in them?
So we just starting, right? So as Dirk Martin was saying, we are still in the test phase, but so KLM is obviously the launch customer for most of the solutions, all the solutions so far. So we started to discuss with several airlines. I would say the level of interest is very high. And this conference today is actually the kickoff for us to go public and to communicate more broadly about this offering. And so I encourage all, by the way, all the potential customers to not only listen to us and look at the packet, but to come to Amsterdam and to see with their own eyes, because this is where you really see the value that we jointly create.
But the traction, I think it's fair to say that the traction we've had so far, also from already speaking to some of our clients, is extremely positive, because it's a problem that airlines have, as we said, mentioned in slides, but not a lot of move to action, and KLM is a true front runner there. So to see the impact of the tools and to be able to come and visit us, again, has been very positively received.
Hi, I'm Victoria from Reuters. So if you were to sell this solution to other airlines, then who gets the revenue and the profits from that?
So we have an agreement that, I will not disclose that, but we have a sharing mechanism for the intellectual property we create and for the time we spend on the project. So we have an agreement as part of our commercial agreement, which is that we agreed upon. Yes.
See it as a JV between the two of us, where there's cost and where there's benefits, and at the end of the day we share and we have a certain formula of doing it. But see it as a joint venture where both of us put in either intellectual property or real hands-on experience, and with that we move forward. I think it was important for us to get some speed and get some traction, and again, listening here in the corridors, what is important today for airlines, it's basically just confirming that we're on the right track with this.
Okay, last question.
And when will you start to benefit from this, as with all these the swaps? When will you implement this?
Already now, the reminder is saying we are having test days, so we are already starting with it. So in fact, we start immediately with using it. I think the broad implementation is going to be more gradual, but I believe a little bit the time that you would go for a sort of big bang in implementation is behind us. This has been developed along the way. Many of the things we learned are very valuable anyway. If you listen to the people in operations, all the things we learn are helping us already today. And some of the sort of 4 big systems being used is when exactly, next few months?
Well, the first 2 are already in use on a small scale, just like Pieter says. And the other 2 are going to be rolled out as well. And we are going to take small steps.
So 2 in place.
At the end of the year, the whole company will use
They will
this?
all 4 be at scale in place for all KLM.
Okay.
What's very important that the tools do not replace people. So the tools actually provide answers and better solutions, and it's support. And as a result, actually, the people actually making the decisions, they can actually decide to use it today. Or they can say, well, today I might actually be still better off doing this, and that's part of that implementation plan.
But why doesn't the artificial intelligence do that for the...
The artificial intelligence will actually propose the solution, will take every factor into account, but then the decision whether you actually implement or not, we still want to make sure that the human department responsible to make the decision feels comfortable with the decision. It's a big learning process to make sure that these people actually also understand what it's proposing. And so that's part of any tool you implement.
We need to see how it exactly goes. I think what is the key difference here is, and again I would like to make a comparison, when we started with social media we had no clue where we would end a couple of years later. We just started, and I guess that's a little bit the difference between us and some others. You can speak on this for hours and hours and fill days of conferences with it. We just start now, we just start doing, and I think that gives a lot of energy to everyone. We just start doing, we just start implementing. We launch it today, 2 systems are in place already, the other 2 will be in the next few months. And probably we'll have the first enthusiastic customers soon.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all for joining us. We have some information in the back.